Parents, what's the most shocking thing a teacher said about your child? My son's second grade teacher called me at work, barely able to speak. Something's wrong with Travis. I think it's because of his allergies. The nurse won't let me see him and Principal Davies has him in her office. I hung up and called the school office asking about my son. The secretary told me he was in a meeting with Principal Davies about a behavioral issue. When I asked what 7-year-old behavior required isolating him from the nurse, she put me on hold. I left work immediately, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. Travis's EpiPen was in my pocket. We always kept one at school, one at home, one with me. The school had 3 separate allergy forms on file. Peanuts could kill him. The secretary stood up when I burst through the door, her coffee mug trembling in her hand. She insisted I needed to calm down, that I was overreacting. I demanded to know where Travis was. She explained that Principal Davies was handling a discipline matter privately. From down the hall, I heard coughing, raspy, struggling coughs. I ran toward the sound. The secretary shouted for security, but I didn't stop. I followed the coughing to Davies' office. Through the window, I saw my 7-year-old hunched over, his face swollen and red, his small hands clutching his throat. Davies was standing behind her desk, arms crossed. The door was locked. I slammed my shoulder into it, hard, again. Then the lock gave way. My worst nightmare was in front of me. Travis looked up at me, his eyes puffy slits. His lips were swollen. His dinosaur t-shirt was dark with sweat. Mom, I can't breathe good. Davies stepped forward, declaring this was a medical issue being handled internally, and I was overreacting to a minor allergic reaction. Then I saw the empty granola bar wrappers crumpled on Davies' desk. I dropped to my knees, pulling out my EpiPen. As I yanked off the cap, Davies moved toward us. She tried to snatch the EpiPen from my hands. In shock, I pushed her off me. She said, "That's unnecessary. He's being dramatic." I jabbed the pen into Travis's thigh through his pants. "Hold on, baby. Keep breathing." Davies retreated behind her desk. Children today are too coddled. When I was young, we didn't have all these fake allergies. Where's his emergency medication? I demanded, cradling Travis. She shifted uncomfortably. The nurse has it. The nurse burst through the broken door with Mrs. Mallory, Travis's teacher. "Oh my God," she said, rushing over. "I've been looking for his EpiPen for 20 minutes. It's missing from my office." Mrs. Mallory was crying. She said Travis was lying about peanuts. She gave him that granola bar to prove allergies aren't real. Davies stepped between us. Teachers don't question administrative decisions about student health. The nurse checked Travis's pulse, then looked at Davies with disgust. "You told me he was in detention, not having an allergic reaction. That's attempted murder. It was just a granola bar. These parents claim allergies for attention." The nurse pulled out her phone. "I'm calling 911 and writing down everything for the medical report." Davies' face went white. "That's not necessary. The boy is fine now." Mrs. Mallory stepped forward. "I saw you take his EpiPen from the nurse's office this morning. You said you were checking expiration dates. I don't know what you're talking about." The janitor appeared in the doorway, holding something. "Found this in the dumpster out back." He held up Travis's emergency EpiPen, still in its labeled case. "Saw Principal Davies toss it an hour ago. I thought it was strange." Travis wheezed against my chest. "My throat hurts, Mom." Davies backed against the wall. "This is all a misunderstanding. The child needed to learn that his parents were babying him." The nurse looked up from Travis. "His oxygen is too low." "Where's that ambulance?" Sirens wailed in the distance. 2 EMTs rushed in minutes later, putting an oxygen mask on Travis. One of them looked at the nurse's notes, then at Davies. "You fed a child with a documented peanut allergy peanut butter?" I was proving a point about modern parenting. The EMT shook his head. "We'll need to report this to the police. This is assault on a minor." The superintendent arrived as they were loading Travis onto a stretcher. He took one look at the scene, the broken door, the EMTs, Davies pressed against the wall. "What happened here?" "Your principal tried to kill my son to prove allergies aren't real," I said, following the EMTs to the ambulance. Davies started to speak, but Dr. Holt held up his hand. He turned to the nurse, Mrs. Mallory, and the janitor. "I need written statements from all of you, now." As the ambulance doors closed, I heard him on his phone with the police. Davies wasn't just fired. She was charged with assault and child endangerment. Her teaching license was revoked in every state.
I've noticed something. Most people watch my videos till the end, but sadly, very few like or subscribe. So please, if you enjoyed it, just give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a kind comment. Your support means the world to me.